what's up YouTube? This is Game on Cloud 9 here, and I'm here to bring you guys a new Crossword Battles video. And I know it's been a few weeks since I've done a new Crossword Battles video. I know some of you guys have been asking me recently. I've been getting a few requests to do another one, so I decided to do basically a clash between two demons, which is Yusuke Urameshi from Yu Yu Hakusho, and Inuyasha, of course, from Inuyasha. Now, I'm going to treat this Crossword Battle exactly the same as how I've treated at least the last few of my Crossword Battles videos. And I'm going to go ahead and list off like their physical capabilities as well as their techniques, if they have any weaknesses that we currently know of, or will ever know of, I should say, since both of these series are done. But I'm going to go ahead and list off everything that they can do, and then I'm going to go ahead and set the terrain as far as how I think the terrain would go if the terrain matters in this type of fight, and how I think the battle would go between these two, and ultimately who I think would win. Now, of course, I'm going to start off with Yusuke first, and then I'm going to talk about Inuyasha. So, Yusuke, we all know, when the series of Yu Yu Hakusho first started, he started off as a normal human. He didn't have any special powers. It was only till after he died that he gained spiritual abilities, that they were awakened, and we saw him be able to use different techniques. But prior to that, Yusuke was a street fighter. Yusuke did know how to fight. 14-year-old boy who, literally could beat down tons and tons of people. Well, not tons of people, but he could beat down, a bunch of people as far as like in the street when it came down to different gangs or whatnot, or bullies that were trying to mess with him. Yusuke definitely wasn't somebody who got tossed around when it came down to like fighting, just street fighting. One of the things Yusuke had, though, of course, like if you think about like Yusuke after he gained his spiritual abilities, which is more or less what matters, is that he has superhuman stamina. And his superhuman stamina, I would say, like if you think about like during the Dark Tournament saga around in there, was pretty damn high. I mean, we see him getting like beat down multiple times, taking blows, like just incredible like amount of hits. Think about like the time he fought Sensui. I mean, that was during of course the Chapter Black saga, but I mean he did get numerous hits from Sensui over and over again, and hey, he got back up. So Yusuke definitely did have a high amount of stamina, and I would even say endurance. But I would say after the whole Mazaku rebirth thing, when we saw his demon blood awaken, his power dramatically increased, which is more or less what matters in this fight. Yusuke, we've seen, actually he's even been able to run for at least 3 to 5 days, like at high speeds, for 3 to 5 days. So I mean, that definitely is quite a long time, showing that Yusuke definitely isn't somebody who would get tired after, let's say, firing a couple shots of the spirit gun or something of that sort, or just running for a little bit, or fighting with Inuyasha for, let's say, for a couple hours or so. Yusuke definitely would be able to be able to keep up with somebody for a long time. So he's definitely somebody that wouldn't get worn out easily in a fight. Yusuke also has, of course, enhanced strength. And Yusuke's enhanced strength, we've seen is like maybe, for example, him smashing through boulders. If you look at the fight that he had through Sensui, I mean, boulders flying everywhere, like punches that were thrown were destroying, at least like cliffs and, all sorts of things. So definitely Yusuke's enhanced strength is, pretty big. I mean, he definitely isn't someone who you want to get punched by. I mean, if you look back at the whole, like time where he fought Tagoro, I mean, he could punch hard then, but if you look at Yusuke towards, let's say, like the Three Kings saga, or even before that during Chapter Black, I mean, he's easily able to like destroy sides of cliffs or edges just from throwing punches. So definitely, when it comes down to like strength, he's not somebody who I would call weak. I definitely would call him one of the stronger people, when it comes down to if you look at like Inuyasha and Yu Yu Hakusho, if you look at both of their universes, he definitely, in my opinion, could probably punch harder than anybody in Inuyasha. And as far as like in Yu Yu Hakusho, he's definitely one of the top people when it comes down to just raw strength. Yusuke's main fighting style, like I've said earlier, is street fighting. So we know that Yusuke, he knows how to, he's basically a brawler. We know he can defend himself. He doesn't have any particular fighting style, although he has learned a few things from Genkai. So definitely when it comes down to fighting Yusuke, I don't think that he would be somebody who would be predictable for, like, let's say Inuyasha. I don't think somebody would be able to just say, okay, he's just throwing like a left hook or something and I can stop that by doing whatever. He definitely is somebody who you would have to, you probably would have a harder time facing off with, since it's not a particular style that he uses, because you wouldn't necessarily be prepared for it. Now, I'm going to talk about Yusuke's techniques. Yusuke's signature technique, and we all know it, is his spirit gun. His spirit gun is probably, I'd say, his ultimate move. And through the course of the series, we've seen, his spirit gun grow in power. He's been able to change it in size. We've seen him destroy, like, small mountains with it, like during the whole Chapter Black saga. And if you even look during the whole like Three Kings saga, during his fight with Yomi, the destructive power of his spirit gun was immense. And not only that, but he even has his demon gun, which could basically do around the same thing. The only difference between his spirit gun and his demon gun basically are the fact that they're using different types of energy. And there's not, I'm like, as far as like how much ammo he can use, his ammo is almost like virtually limitless towards the end of the series when you look at as far as how many shots he can do with demon gun, and then his spirit energy had grown so much that he can use multiple shots with spirit gun. So as far as ammo goes, if you look at the beginning of Yu Yu Hakusho, yeah, he couldn't do that many, but during the end of Yu Yu Hakusho, you don't really see any particular limit to Yusuke's spirit gun techniques, which again are extraordinarily powerful. He destroyed, he beat Toguro with his spirit gun, and he's beaten Sensui with his spirit gun. Every opponent, I think, he's beaten with his spirit gun, except for Yomi. So I definitely don't think that that is a technique that someone could really survive. In Inuyasha's case, I can't really see it happening. But another technique I'd say that Yusuke has is his spirit shotgun, which also it can fire. It's not as powerful, nowhere near, I'd say, as close as the spirit gun, because again, I consider that his most powerful technique. But it could be a useful technique when fighting multiple opponents, because spirit shotgun now enables Yusuke to be able to fire multiple shots at his opponent by gathering energy up in his fist and basically firing it out. So it could, in my opinion, provide a good distraction also if you're fighting maybe against one opponent. Another move, or I'd say maybe Yusuke's last most important move that we've seen him use, is his Spirit Wave, which he used, if anybody remembers correctly, like back, I think, during the Dark Tournament saga. That was the first time he used his Spirit Wave. And his Spirit Wave is kind of like the Spirit Gun, except for the fact that he uses his entire body to perform it. So would I say that the Spirit Wave is extraordinarily powerful? Not really, but I do think it can be a very useful technique when it comes down to close combat. Now, I'm going to go ahead and list off Inuyasha's abilities. Inuyasha definitely has enhanced strength. I mean, we've seen Inuyasha pick up giant boulders before, throw those. And Inuyasha's even been said before to be able to pick up, let's say, things that are actually 100 times his size. So I don't really see Inuyasha having any problems if it came down to, let's say, something falling over on him or whatever, or if he needed to necessarily pick up somebody and throw something at somebody. I don't see that being hard for him to do. Definitely think that he would be able to do it easily. So let's say he picked up a boulder or whatever and threw it at Yusuke, which not in Inuyasha's fighting style, so I wouldn't include this in it, but it wouldn't be any trouble for him, is my point. Also, Inuyasha definitely has, great speed when it comes down to just overall running speed. We see Inuyasha, he's actually even able to run faster, I believe, than a normal horse, and he's even able to run faster than any land creature or creature in the water. So, well, of course, if it's in the water, he could run faster than if it came on land. Let's say we had some kind of alligator or whatever, but the point is, Inuyasha can run faster than, I would say, most animals, or any animal that we've seen as far as, on Inuyasha, or anything that's just a normal type of animal, if anybody gets what I mean. But Inuyasha also has enhanced stamina, which enables him to be able to run for long periods of time. And we've even seen him have great endurance when it comes down to like pain and stuff like that. Like we've seen him get pierced, I'd say, a number of times as far as in Inuyasha, and didn't really take him that long to recover. He's been able to recover in little to no time, maybe a day or so, and he's ready to go. In this fight, I really can't see it making a big difference, but I do think that it would mean something as far as like if, let's say, Yusuke broke something in his body. I definitely think that it wouldn't be like something that would affect him, on a large scale to where he couldn't fight anymore, is what I'm trying to say. So Yusuke's enhanced endurance, as far as that goes, definitely, or not Yusuke's, Inuyasha's enhanced endurance definitely would be something that would come in handy. Not only that, but he does have the whole cloak of the fire rat thing, so it gives him immunity to fire. Would it really matter in this fight with Yusuke? No, but if there were ever anything like any kind of situations or something where, let's say Inuyasha were to like get burned or whatever, Yusuke did have any kind of fiery techniques, like let's say, Inuyasha was fighting against Hiei or something like that, I definitely think that would come in handy. So, as far as endurance goes and in Inuyasha's world, I definitely think that he is a pretty well-prepared warrior. Inuyasha also has enhanced senses when it comes down to, let's say, his nose or his ears, which does definitely come in handy when it comes down to this fight, because Inuyasha, I don't really see any situation where anybody can sneak up to him, since he's been able to hear people like whispering from like at least I'd say maybe miles away just from his ears. And not only that, but he's even been able to smell blood from like miles away. So again, I mean, Inuyasha, I don't see anybody being able to sneak up on him, since he can smell them and he can hear them. So somebody would definitely have to be extremely light on their feet in order to sneak up on Inuyasha. And even with that, you have to remember his nose as well, so you'd have to be able to mask as far as like your scent, and you would have to be like untraceable when it comes down to sound. So Inuyasha is somebody who cannot be snuck up on. So Yusuke tried to do that, it's not working. Okay, now I'm gonna talk about Inuyasha's transformation. Of course, Yusuke has a transformation too. I didn't really talk about it too much. And that's mainly because Yusuke doesn't necessarily really transform that often. I mean, he does have his Mazaku state, where he does get enhanced capabilities and whatnot, but I couldn't necessarily find anything on the exact dramatic increase his capabilities get. So, I mean, you guys kind of get the idea as far as what Yusuke can do. But Inuyasha in his yokai form, or his full demon form, he gains a lot more power. Usually that only emerges if his life is in danger, or he's away from Tetsaiga and his life is in danger. Although it has happened like one other time, I believe, in Inuyasha when he was fighting against Kana. But I believe it doubles his strength, doubles everything that Inuyasha can do. So, definitely if Yusuke, if he's in a situation where he feels threatened by Yusuke, and Yusuke, has backed him into a corner, that definitely would, I guess, be kind of problematic, or at least give Yusuke a harder time in the fight, in the sense that Inuyasha's abilities, like if you think about like his hearing, his smell, his sense of smell, his speed, everything would double. And that the yokai form definitely is something that would be hard to handle, considering the fact that it does have the enhanced speed, the enhanced strength, but at the same time, it's not necessarily something that Inuyasha can rely on, because I'm like, if the fight ends before he can use the state, since it's not something that he can necessarily activate on his own, then it's kind of useless. So next I'm going to talk about Inuyasha's abilities as far as like, what he can do with his claws. Now, anybody knows the classic thing that we've always seen Inuyasha do, which is his Iron Reaver Soul Stealer, which enables him to channel his demonic energy through his claws and, make a, basically like be able to cut straight through like iron or, strong materials as far as like steel, that sort of thing. So we've all seen him use the Iron Reaver Soul Stealer. I'm assuming if you haven't, then I suggest that you look it up. But he's been able to cut demons in two with that. So it is a pretty useful move when it comes down to that. And if you think about his demon form, it's even more enhanced to where we've seen him cut down like extremely large demons with it. When he uses his Iron Reaver Soul Stealer. So if he doesn't have Tetsaiga on him, it is something that can be kind of useful. I wouldn't say it's the most powerful move, but it's pretty decent. Blades of Blood is another move that we've seen Inuyasha use, which also, is when he uses his demonic energy, basically to channel it through his claws. But the difference is that, he can only use it if, let's say, he's like gushing out with blood, and then he can use it as far as like a projectile. He can harden his blood and make it fling at people, and he can cut at people. Like it's not necessarily as powerful as the Iron Reaver Soul Stealer. It can't cut through iron or like steel, but it can do a little damage to somebody. Alright, now let's talk about Tetsaiga, because Tetsaiga is Inuyasha's main form of fighting. Now Tetsaiga, of course, it has its sheath, which it can deflect attacks as far as like, with its barrier. Would I say that it can like deflect like just enormously powerful techniques? We haven't seen anything just incredibly powerful like be blocked by the Tetsaiga. So I wouldn't say that Tetsaiga could, or the sheath of the Tetsaiga, my fault, could actually like deflect, let's say, like a full-on massive spirit gun. But I would say that it's strong enough to be able to deflect, like, let's say, like the spirit shotgun or something like that. So definitely, I do think it would be kind of useful in this fight. But another ability that Tetsaiga itself has is that it can create a demonic barrier, which is very important in this fight, since Yusuke is a demon, and I definitely do think it would be able to affect him, since he is a demon and he does have demonic energy. I don't think that there would, even though these are two different universes, I feel like it would act kind of the same, since both of them are using demonic energy. So also to name off some of the other Tetsaiga's moves, or I would say its most known move, is the Kaza no Kizu, or Wind Scar, which is basically an ability where we see Inuyasha swing down his Tetsaiga, and it creates this massive like white light where it it's basically able to engulf or kill 100 demons in a single strike. So again, very pretty useful move, pretty powerful. Definitely isn't something you want to get hit by, although we have seen people survive it multiple occasions. So it's not like an overpowered move, but it is something that I feel like if it strikes head on against somebody, then it definitely could either deal heavy damage to them or kill them. Now, next move I'm going to talk about is I guess you could say, or it used to be, the most powerful move of the Tetsaiga, which is called Baku Ryoha. I think that's how it's pronounced in the Japanese, and or you can call it the Backlash Wave, which is the English dub version of it. So basically what the Backlash Wave does is it's able to use the opponent's own strong demonic energy and the Wind Scar to return the attack magnified 100 times. So I do think that technique within itself could play a big role in this fight, in my opinion. Another thing that Inuyasha we all know we can do, I don't know if I really want to include the red Tetsaiga in this debate, because the red Tetsaiga can shatter small barriers and stuff like that, but it doesn't really have any real importance in this fight. But I do think the diamond Tetsaiga would play a pretty big role in this fight, considering the fact that it grants Inuyasha the ability to be able to use Kongo's Shoha, or the Adamant Barrage, which is basically when he sends a bunch of diamond shards flying at his opponent. And that definitely has to be a pretty deadly move, considering the fact that it is diamond flying at you, and very few people and a lot of various animes can destroy diamond. I'm not saying there aren't any, but I mean clearly there are. But I definitely think that would be pretty troublesome when it comes down to Yusuke's case. And last there is the black Tetsaiga, which is the most powerful one, which is the move where he basically can use the move called Meido Zangetsuha, which basically is able to create a single black blade or several black blades that not only can cut the opponent but suck up the remains and send them to a pathway to hell. So if that move were to fly at, like, let's say Yusuke or something like that, it's definitely not something that somebody can necessarily defend against. It's more of a move that you have to avoid. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and set up the scenario for this fight. How I personally feel like, let's say, the fight would go, okay, like, I think the setting is most fitting for, let's say, like, just maybe a regular forest or something, but maybe, like, of course, plenty of grass, few trees here or there, a little water, like the normal setting that I always usually set the crossroad battles in, because I don't really feel like if they were, let's say, in water, or if they were, you know, like, let's say in like the snow, like, let's say in a tundra somewhere or in a cave, that this fight would really make a huge amount of difference, considering that, okay, if you're in a cave, you know, both of them can sense each other. We all know that Yusuke can sense energy, and we know that Inuyasha, he can smell, like, he has a sense of smell and hearing. So I'm just going to set it regular terrain, some trees here or there, open field, you know, a little bit of water on the side, just a regular, you know, just regular terrain. I feel as though, okay, Yusuke definitely has Inuyasha beat when it comes down to close combat. And in my opinion, I feel like Yusuke is faster than Inuyasha. And some of you may wonder, now, how is that? Now, the deal is with, like, if you, let's say, you say Yusuke. Yusuke, we've seen during his fight with Sensui, he was able to jump, like, mountain to mountain with him and Sensui fighting. Inuyasha, we've never seen him move at those speeds. We've seen Inuyasha move pretty fast. We've seen him run through the forest or whatnot, but not in that amount of time, or at least not that quickly where, you know, it's almost like let's say the forest was just like let's say a tree was just a platform for him to jump like halfway or like across like a town or whatnot. We've never seen him do that, like, kind of jumping or, you know, leaping from places. So definitely think, as far as like if Yusuke is in his full, like, let's say demon form Masaku state, and he decides to go ahead and take off and try to punch Inuyasha, the only way I feel like he may even be able to like actually defend against that is if he puts up, let's say, his demonic barrier, you know, that he can do with Tessaga, because the demonic barrier, I don't necessarily, even as much as strong as Yusuke is, I don't know if necessarily one punch is going to be enough to just destroy that with ease, considering the fact that it does project a pretty strong demonic barrier, you know, that we've never really seen anybody be able to break through. So another thing that where this fight comes down to is if, like, Yusuke, if he can get close up to Inuyasha, what much can he do? Because I do think Inuyasha would be kind of dangerous if they were really close in. And the only reason I feel like Inuyasha would be kind of dangerous because he does have his blade. And if he does happen to use, let's say, the wind scar close up, that definitely, in my opinion, I feel like that would wound Yusuke, you know, a great deal. I mean, do I see Yusuke getting hit with that? No, because I don't think, if Yusuke got up close and he saw Inuyasha getting ready to use that, I do think that he could react with his spirit gun. But at the same time, you know, it all comes down to which move is faster, because even though we've seen Yusuke be able to fire his spirit gun, you know, multiple times, you know, at a pretty quick pace, we've never seen him fire like powerful versions of the demon gun, at least the yeah, let's say the demon gun, as far as, like, you know, in battle, you know, at once, as far as like we never see him blow away a mountain with ease with the demon gun, you know, like at a quick pace. Usually when he uses like the demon gun or the spirit gun, you know, it takes him at least a couple seconds to go ahead and charge and fire it off, to where, you know, all the wind scars is like, you know, one swing and that's it. So that would be a pretty troublesome move for him. Although I do think the spirit gun is more powerful than the wind scar. So let's say that Yusuke, if he avoids the wind scar, which I do think he would avoid instead of having to counter it, then I do think that if he fires his spirit gun right after that, Inuyasha definitely would have some trouble on his hands. If I think Inuyasha got hit by that, he would pretty much be finished. Now, Inuyasha could counter with his backlash wave if they were fighting. And if Yusuke is using his, let's say his, I can't even think of what it is. If Inuyasha is using his backlash, if he uses backlash wave and Yusuke is using his his demon gun, then definitely I do think that that would automatically turn it back at Yusuke, considering the fact that that's what it does with demonic energy. So Yusuke definitely would once again have to avoid it. I don't think it would be a problem with Yusuke avoiding because of his enhanced speed, but Yusuke would have to dodge that in that situation. You know, although I do think that Yusuke would probably find a way to stop Inuyasha, probably by like disarming him or something of that sort. Which, if that does happen, you know, which I do think would happen, then Inuyasha definitely would have to try to find a way to still be able to fight, you know, without his Tetsaiga, which I think in that particular instance he would go into his yokai form. Now, do I think his yokai form could keep up with Yusuke? I still don't think his yokai form could keep up with Yusuke, nor do I think that his yokai form is strong enough to be able to take on Yusuke alone. I do think that he would need his Tetsaiga. So if he does have his Tetsaiga and his yokai form on at the same time, I think that's when the battle would really begin, or at least give Yusuke more of a challenge. Because, and if he uses his either the diamond Tetsaiga or the black Tetsaiga, because with the backlash wave and the wind scar, I feel like all that would kind of just take is maybe, you know, somebody to be basically, once you figure out the wind scar, you know what's going on in the wind scar. Okay, all Yusuke would know is that, okay, I have to avoid the wind scar, or I can't get up close, or I have to find a way to disarm him in some type of way. You know, and if Yusuke got behind him, I mean, there's not much Inuyasha can do. I've never seen Inuyasha have quick responses enough for him to be able to counter, you know, someone sneaking up on him in that kind of way. Although, you know, it would be hard for somebody to actually sneak up on him, or nobody can really actually sneak up on Inuyasha. But I do think that Yusuke is quick enough to where Inuyasha won't be able to really have a reaction at Yusuke's speed. Now, talking about Inuyasha's black Tetsaiga or his diamond Tetsaiga, I do think that if Yusuke does get hit with a full-on Adamant Barrage or Kongo Shoha, then he's pretty much done. I think he would be done then, because you have, like, I don't think Yusuke could actually, it's you know, you have to think about actually how hard diamonds are, because diamonds are the hardest rock. And I feel like if you get hit with diamonds all over your body, you're pretty much done. I mean, I don't care if it's Yusuke or not. I mean, we've seen Yusuke get thrown into mountains and all kinds of crazy things like that, but we've never seen him get like hit with a barrage of diamonds. So, you know, I definitely feel like if he got hit with that, then he's pretty much done. But at the same time, again, this comes down to speed. And even with the Spirit Gun, I feel like if he does happen to get off enough time where he can use the Spirit Gun, maybe he can counter the Adamant Barrage or Kongo Shoha enough to where maybe he can stop it. I'm not sure necessarily Spirit Gun can destroy diamonds, but I definitely think it would slow down the move and, you know, maybe stop the move or whatnot. So, you know, I know it probably sounds like to some of you guys that I'm saying that Inuyasha would win. I don't think Inuyasha would win this. You know, even with the Medo Zangetsu Ha, I do think that Yusuke would win this, even though the Medo Zangetsu Ha is also another move where if Yusuke gets hit with it, he's pretty much finished. But I do think that Yusuke's response time is much greater than, it's so much greater actually than Inuyasha's, to where I feel as though he would be able to beat Inuyasha, because I do feel like Inuyasha's speed, you know, and response time is so much slower than that of Yusuke's, considering the battles that we've seen Yusuke go through with Sensui and Yomi and, you know, Toguro. You know, there's so much that Yusuke has went through. So if he gets hit full on, well, I'd say with the Adamant Barrage or the Medo Zangetsu Ha or the Backlash Wave, I feel like not Inuyasha, but Yusuke is done. But it kind of goes the same way for Inuyasha. If he gets hit full on with a Demon Gun or a Spirit Gun, I feel like he's done. And not only that, but we also have to think about the fact that Yusuke does have his shotgun, so that could provide a pretty big distraction if Inuyasha decides he wants to just spam Wind Scar all day. I definitely feel like that would stun him enough for Yusuke to zip up to him. Spirit Gun right there. I mean, even if he did use his barrier only stops demonic energy, so Spirit Gun definitely would be the way to go as far as in that particular situation. So ultimately, I do think Yusuke would win the fight. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know I kind of rambled a bit in this video as far as like I jumped around, you know, a little bit as far as like talking about one move to the next. So I hope this actually made sense to you guys, and I hope you ultimately did enjoy this video. So please don't forget to rate this video. So if you did like this video, please put a thumbs up. If you didn't like this video, then you can put a thumbs down. The choice is yours, guys. I just want feedback. And also don't forget to comment down below to say, you know, who you guys think would win and why you think they would win. And if you enjoy my content and this is the first time you're watching my channel, please do not forget to subscribe if you want to see more. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.